About a 30-minute drive southwest of Denver, just past Morrison, Colorado, on Route 285, is one of the state's most unique roadside attractions, Tiny Town and Railroad, which has been open since 1915. And welcome to Tiny Town and Railroad. So walking across what used to be 285, and now you have to get off of 285 and come down this road to visit Tiny Town and see things like that. That's the Addams family house, kind of a recreation of it, and that's the kind of stuff we're going to walk around and see throughout the park here. It's an amazing place, it really is. So it's open Memorial Day through Labor Day, 10 to 5 daily, and admission is only $5 for adults. Kids 2 to 12 are $4, and to ride the train, which we will at the end of the video, is $4. Now this place is its own, little town, obviously. They call it Tiny Town. But it's had an incredible history of ups and downs. It's kind of been a ghost town, and it's kind of come back, and it's good to see it in its current form. So let me tell you about the history of this place, because it is kind of a remarkable history. So it opened way back in 1915, and it was the location of the Denver-Leadville Stagecoach Station, and George Turner began building what he called Turnerville to entertain his young daughter. That was the precursor of Tiny Town. By 1920, it grew large enough to be open to the public. In 1924 was kind of the beginning heyday, and they had 125 buildings with a grocery store, barbershop, 2 lakes, a pool room, hotel, school, and a church. The town also boasted a genuine Pueblo structure with Indians from a New Mexico reservation. During this period, 20,000 people per year drove up the hazardous dirt mountain roads from Denver to view the area. By 1927, the project outgrew George Turner's spare time, and he sold it. Flooding damaged the town in 1929 and 1932. In 1935, a disastrous fire destroyed the Indian Pueblo and all the principal buildings of Tiny Town. Fortunately, the miniature businesses and residences were untouched by the flames. There's the train that we're going to ride in a little bit. In 1948, a stroke of the pen may have been more devastating to Tiny Town than the floods and the fires, as plans were approved to reroute Highway 285 that we drove in on in the front of Tiny Town. So this took from everyday viewers who would just pass by and check things out. So in 1965, the owners did a big restoration of Tiny Town, and then they put it up for sale the next year, and no buyers were found. In 1969, another disastrous flood destroyed Tiny Town, leaving a nightmarish, debris-strewn ghost town here. 1972, Lyle Fulkerson, a model train buff and master mechanic, begins another Tiny Town restoration. This project involved the entire family that he had and included a zoning change, widening and deepening of Turkey Creek, and regrading of the railroad bed, so quite a project. Unfortunately, in 1977, Lyle was killed by a runaway train car on his way to Tiny Town. So in 1978, Tiny Town then closed and fell into disrepair again. In 1980, 4 families again decided to reopen Tiny Town, this time including pony rides and a puppet theater. And by 1983, Tiny Town closed again. So in 1987, the Northern Colorado chapter of the Institute of Real Estate Management adopted Tiny Town as a civic project and pledged to revive the remaining structures. Lots in Tiny Town released at public auction, raising $6,000 for the Children's Museum in Denver. Winning bidders pledged to rebuild individual houses to original specifications. This rebuilding of Tiny Town was professionally planned and managed using the strict guidelines of its members. In 1988, volunteers returned 50 refurbished or new structures to the site, and Tiny Town reopened on July 4th, 1988, with 11,000 visitors that weekend. By 1989, over 60,000 people visited Tiny Town's 65 structures. In 1990, Tiny Town was up to 80 colorful structures for its 75th anniversary season, with half of the railroad track being completed by opening day. Tiny Town had the world-famous Tiny Town Railway in operation by midsummer. In 1991, the year provided to be the most successful so far in Tiny Town's history. With over 90 buildings and 3 operating trains, over 100,000 people came to enjoy the park. In 2011, several buildings that were built back in the 1920s by Tiny Town's founder George Turner were discovered in nearby property and donated to Tiny Town. After restoration, they were placed on display in a new exhibit area called Turnerville. And in 2015, Tiny Town's 100th anniversary celebration lasted all summer. Tiny Town and Railroad is a really amazing place, and to learn the history of its ups and downs, to see it operational today is kind of an amazing story. So if you're in the Denver area, a little 30-minute drive is not too far to experience one of the coolest attractions in all of Colorado.